All right, check. Testing. Let's see.
This is quite simply a test, and that's it. Nothing more than just a test. A test of your will, of your wit, of your wisdom. So, what will it be then? What will it be? Will you stand with me?
Then all of a sudden, it hits. Something happens. It could be even just a mental aberration, something you remembered from your past. Something that you remembered that you did that you weren't proud of. Something that happened to you. Something that was done to you. A story about yourself. Maybe you just got out of a relationship, or maybe you're not even in one. Maybe you experienced the death of someone, or the loss of a friend, or any number of things. Maybe your country's at war. Maybe you feel bad because you feel bad about things, even though you feel like you have no excuse to. Maybe you think you had a great childhood, but for some reason you still get very messed up with things. So messed up, in fact, that you can barely function at times. In those instances, when something happens, sometimes the things we experience, or maybe better put, the experiences we grew up with or have gone through have left some sort of a scar, some sort of wound that hasn't healed yet. Just like that, a persistent physical thing that hasn't been taken care of yet. Maybe there's something like that there. And then someone or something, whether within or without, even though it's always something that happens within, something happens. Someone does something. Someone says something. And it brings this something. A demon, a monster. All you know is that it feels so horrible. But not only that, it seems that you have no control of your brain anymore. You have only maybe a certain tiny percentage left just to go about your daily life. As if life wasn't difficult enough. Now you have this thing. It's almost like you'd rather have physical pain than deal with whatever it is that's going on that you're barely conscious of. Maybe, sure, you understand that there's some thoughts, and maybe you're even wanting to lay blame on someone else and play that victim mentality and let that play through, even though you know that doesn't work. That never helps. Ever, ever. Resentments, the grudges, all of that, it only destroys you. The other person, sorry, they may or may not be thinking about you. Probably not losing sleep. But anyway, I digress. And my goal here is to, one, provide some relatable anecdotes, some relatable stories to where you can go and say, oh shit, I'm not the only one who's experienced this. I'm not alone in this. There are others who have experienced this exact same thing. I guarantee you're not alone. But also, not just from myself, but from others, from guests on the podcast, I want to provide options, some potentials, some things that may help you. Can't guarantee they will, because guess what? There's no one thing that works for everybody. When somebody says, like, you just have to do this for whatever, whether it's to be successful or to get rid of this feeling or to get better at this or whatever. No, we're all unique. Granted, we're all made of the same stuff, but we all have our very unique experiences in life, the way we've grown up, the way we think about things, our world views, our nervous systems are all different. The way we feel and react, why are creative people often more sensitive in nature, more intuitive, more just like prone to feeling so much more? Well, I'm glad they are. Otherwise, we wouldn't have half of the beautiful art, music and poetry, great writing, if we didn't have that. But I'm also grateful for those who have more of a logistics, mechanistic, and business mindset. Because without them, all the things that go on behind the scenes, they wouldn't get done. We all need each other. We're all different. But what I'm trying to say is there is no one thing that will work for everyone in all cases. But maybe there will be something here that will help you with whatever you're going through. Maybe you're not going anything. Maybe you're not going through anything right now. Enjoy it. Breathe it in. But someday you will. That's guaranteed. Life does not spare anyone. And as much as people say that, look, you just have to breathe right and you'll get rid of cancer. You just have to do this. People have been selling that for so long. In an instant, you're healed. Guess what? Everyone dies of something. If it were so simple as just healing anything with a thought or breath or whatever, and granted, don't get me wrong, I love my breath work. Oh, I have something to tell you about that too. Breathing is, and it can help, and it probably can cure a lot of stuff, maybe even cancer, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, beware of those who say that you can instantaneously just change, instantaneously just get better. Many times, the only way out is through. Most often, actually. Most things are difficult. So 2 things. I want this to be relatable to you and to give you potential solutions, or at least something that may help you get through something, or even overcome something, or maybe even, better yet, defeat something. That's what I want. I want that for you. I want it for me. I want it for everyone, anyone who needs it. Okay? Well, it's beginning to rain again. So be it. I thought this might happen. Sometimes you just have to accept the rain. You just have to be with it. With whatever happens, whether it's rain or these crazy things that happen in life. I have lost people in my life that I was close to. I've done things where it made my life that much harder, that much more difficult. I've made decisions that were not in my best interest and not in the best interest of others either. That's some of the toughest things to handle, is when you know that what you've done or that you're going through is because of you. It's okay. We can fix it. But it doesn't help just to stay stuck in it. To stay thinking, oh, I should have just done that. I should have. You're wasting the present moment doing that. So, we're going to work on some things here. We are. It's going to be good. I can't wait. Oh, look, I have a little cave here. We'll go in here. So, the question is, are you going to join me in this? There are a lot of people hurting. You may be one of them. So here we are.
I don't want you to feel trapped anymore. I don't want you to feel like you're alone anymore. I want you to know that there are people out there who give a shit. Even if I don't know you, even if the other people who give a shit about other people don't know you, we do care. There are some people who actually give a shit about others. You may not see it. You may not experience it. You may be in a shitty situation right now. It may be because of you. You may be ashamed because it's shit that you did in the past or are doing right now. There's hope. But I'm not going to sugarcoat shit either. I'm not going to say that everything is just all right. Love isn't just all like a pretty nice thing. It can be tough and it can be fucking rough and brutal. If you've ever worked out before or taken an ice bath or whatever, something that is a little bit painful, you felt good afterward, that's what I'm talking about. And sometimes these things that we go through, when you let the cut actually bleed as it needs to and let it stop when it needs to, with your own healing properties, that can be something really exceptional, and beautiful, and powerful. So my particular flavors of super fucked, if you will, OCD. I'll tell you some stories about that. But when I first started experiencing symptoms of it and not knowing what it was, thinking I was going crazy. I'm then recently discovering this thing called adult anxious attachment. You may know it as like nice guy syndrome or people pleasing behavior, but it's so much more nuanced and so much more intense. And I dare say, OCD, it can be a very destructive and like it's a disorder that is very can be, if you let it be, very destructive as well. But I would say that this anxious attachment stuff is equally, if not more, destructive. And it's something that's not as understood, I feel. Well, not like OCD is very well understood either, because all of these things, if you don't have it, it's very hard to understand. Because look, nobody really truly knows what another person is going through. We can kind of intuit. We can be like, oh, you described something like this, like, oh, I experienced the same thing. But we all have such differing levels of neural of our neural the way our neural pathways, everything is wired, our whole system, our nervous system, everything is we're all wired differently. We've all learned things differently. Our behaviors are all different, from biology to the social constructs we were raised in. Makes it really difficult to truly know what someone else is going through. In fact, we can't truly 100% know. But I'm sure going to give it a fucking try to try and relate with you. At the very least, say, look, we all go through some shit. And thankfully for you, I've done enough, I'd say not so smart things, but also good things. It's important not to take away, not to just go with your brain's negative bias, because we tend to go, you can get like 50 compliments and then there's one criticism. What does the brain focus on? That one fucking criticism. Let's try and focus on those 50 beautiful things, you know? Plus, get rid of the notion that you're all this or all that, or basing your identity on one act, or two acts, or three, or five. There's so much more than that. We're all multifaceted, complex creatures. We'll delve into all this, but I wanted to give you a heads up about what's to come. There's a lot to talk about. But the sun's going down and I have to do a line in the sand exercise right now. So talk to you soon.